I'm Ansgar Grunseid, and I'm a beach volleyball player in Northern California. Well, I moved out here in 2013, and I first touched volleyball a few years later. A buddy of mine who played indoor volleyball was visiting from New York City, and he and I hung out all the time. We're great high school friends, and we would descend upon Stanford campus like sharks smelling blood in the water. We would throw a pair of cleats each, a soccer ball, and a frisbee in our backpack, and go bike over to Stanford campus and just go find trouble to get into. And then one day we were biking around campus, and Stanford has two beach volleyball courts right next to the Graduate School of Business. And we were just biking by, and through sheer happenstance and serendipity that day, we saw a bunch of people playing beach volleyball. But before we ever saw them, we heard them. They were having a raucously good time. They were playing a bunch of loud music. And as we biked by, my boy Steven turns to me and says, Ansgar, it's California. They're playing beach. Like, there's nothing more wonderful than playing beach in the summer. I've only played indoor. Let's go join and play.
A little further off.
My level of play when I first started playing was abysmal. It was horrendous. I had never played a sport growing up. What I was smitten with and became quickly besotted with was just the atmosphere. I was absolutely hooked. The scene of it, and it was just fun. Again, out in the sun, feet in the sand, music playing. It was a blast. So even though I sucked, it was a blast. But there's one thing that is absolutely addictive when you suck. Your rate of improvement is so fast. You know, like if you're a professional, think about it like percent improvement wise. When you've been playing for 20 years and you play your 21st year, what is the percent improvement from your 20th year to 21st year? It's pretty low. And that's playing and practicing full time. When you've played 0 years of your life, and like day to day, you see yourself improving leaps and bounds, and that's intoxicating.
That'll be. Yeah.
The biggest thing I did was after I became totally in love with volleyball, after I fell in love with the sport, was I set an explicit ambition to just improve as fast as I possibly could. And why? Because I am a very competitive fellow. There's nothing that slaps a smile on my face from ear to ear more than winning. And I set out with a goal of just become as good as you possibly could. I always tried to play with people who are better than me. That's by far the biggest thing. So every time I step onto a volleyball court, I ask myself, am I the worst person on the court? And if the answer to that question is no, then I will try and find people that are better than me and continue to play. So I would hound people who were better than myself. And most of them would say, like, no, why am I going to play with someone who sucks like you? And I wouldn't take it, personally, because I'd put myself in their exact shoes. And, I don't particularly want to play with someone who sucks either. Until eventually one day they're at some situation like, well, one of our players dropped out. We're either not playing or we're playing with Ansgar, right? And if those are the two forks in the road, lo and behold, they'll play with Ansgar.
More out of your right shoulder. Is that probably a little high for you still? Just too inside?
Probably just a little bit high.
I'll find what you want. 09 now.
The other things I would do is I would always ask a lot of questions. I was never trained, and it is rather encouraging as you start playing and start beating people who've played more years than you, with more coaching than you, and you're just a street rat, who's never been taught, never been told what to do, and just, play for the love of playing. It's really encouraging as you start beating people who've won tournaments, national titles, been trained for years. And so I've gone from playing people who, like myself, have never played before to now, don't tell these people that I play with, but, I now share the court with guys that have played in the Olympic Canadian team, guys that are playing AVP professionally. Like, I now share the court with these guys. Am I as good as them? No, of course not. But I'll be better than them because I'm going to keep finding better people to play with over and over and over again.
Outside.
Oh, no. Right.
No one! Outside. Great play.
Good work.
Great set on that. I think it's you now.
One of the things that I love about beach volleyball is it checks two boxes. It checks, like sport and fitness, but it also checks being social.
You're out of here.
There's a small pocket of fantastic players up here. Guy who was, on the Olympic Canadian team. He's in the South Bay area in Palo Alto. There's another guy who played for Russia and was on the Cyprus national team. He's here. And then there's some guys from Santa Cruz, which is the local beach rat community, the local competitive community who have play on the AVP. Between that kind of group of players, there's enough to get kind of a regular group of guys going. But that group of guys might only be 5 or 6 deep at the very top level. That's not very many people. And, to continue improving at some point, that circle's going to shrink and shrink. So I'm currently ranked 49th. So by ranking, there are 48 people better than me in California. So if you play volleyball super, super seriously, LA, Los Angeles, the city of angels, that's the Mecca. This is the year that I want to spend flying to AVP events and playing in AVP events. So hope to fly to Austin and Minneapolis and Chicago and New York. And I might not be able to make all these tournaments depending on work, but that's kind of the next step.